Hello, welcome to Meditation for Misfits. Today I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm going to color. And as I color, I'll be mostly just offering a calm voice. Um, don't always need to show my face. So I'm going to try to get this a little bit closer actually to, let's see, let's bring it down. Oh, hi. Let's bring this down a little bit. So do feel free if you are in the coloring mood, if you have a pen, paper, if you have something there at home, coloring or drawing or doing some kind of artistic, something artistic can really be helpful to relieve, or at least the very least manage stress, manage emotional regulation. And we're creating something. We're completing something if we have already a piece that we're working on or a piece that has been drawn for us that we're just coloring in. We're completing something. So today, again, I invite you to take a moment to engage your creativity, engage your creative senses. And just take some time here to breathe, noticing your inhale, noticing your exhale, finding a few deep breaths in and out through your nose as you settle into a comfortable position to draw or color or create something. This is very I'm trying to show you the coloring. I've not done this before, so finding it a bit of a challenge to make sure that okay, I think I got a good angle for you all now. And even if if you want to take breaks and check out my mad coloring skills. Uh, Again, sometimes we need to just take our eyes off of the screen. Of course, if you're watching me color as you're listening to this, your eyes are on the screen, but get our eyes focused and our ears focused on things that are calming, things that bring a sense of peace and ease to our bodies and minds. And you can get creative with your coloring. The other day, when I was coloring a picture, I closed my eyes. I have here this spinning container, and I closed my eyes and I spun the container and then just picked blindly a color. And it was interesting because I kept picking colors that were within the same or similar color palette, and it was kind of a lot of browns and beiges and muted colors. And so finally I was like, I need more color in this picture. Not the picture that I'm working on now, but a different one. And so then I was just like, I'm just gonna keep my eyes open and find a little pop of color. The coloring books that I've been working in now are Joy and Harmony. Just to remind myself that these things still do exist. And as you're coloring, you might notice the sound whatever style of drawing or writing utensil you're using. Maybe you're painting, whatever you're using, just noticing the sound of that tool. Noticing the colors. Everything we do mindfully. I was listening earlier today to a talk from one of the Buddhists that are part of the Walk for Peace. There's in case you're not familiar, there's this beautiful expression of peace, mindfulness, and loving kindness that is happening, that is being led by Buddhist monks from Texas who are traveling to Washington, D.C. to promote peace, promote mindfulness, promote loving kindness. So I highly recommend checking that out, looking that up. Walk for Peace, it's called. And the Buddhist monk that was speaking to this group of people was talking about being mindful, like anything that we're doing. Now, of course, I'm talking and coloring, but ideally, anything that we're doing, that we're paying full attention just to that thing. He mentioned the dishes, and I do have dishes in the sink to do. But he mentioned doing the dishes mindfully. We're just paying attention to that one thing. Our mind, our monkey mind, as it's sometimes called, referred to, the busyness, can sometimes throw us off track, leave us unbalanced, cloud clarity. And so if we can take a moment just to be mindful, to observe, we're able to come back to that clarity, come back to that place of peace. Notice and breathe. In his talk, he also mentioned writing down these words. What were the words? Today will be my peaceful day. Just to remind ourselves. And no, we will not always get this right. We will not always be peaceful. But if we can, in moments of clarity, remind ourselves that peace and love truly are the answer, and how we express that may look different for each one of us. Some of us might express peace by helping a friend who's suffering. Some of us might express peace or love through protesting things that are antithetical to peace and love. Some of us might express that peace and love just by a simple embrace, a gentle hug, a kind word, encouragement. And any way that we express peace and love that enlightens or creates a shift or is non harming, ahimsa in yoga, Sanskrit for non harming. Anytime we express ourselves in a kind way, we're practicing peace, we're practicing love. And this doesn't mean that we won't have difficult emotions, that there won't be a heaviness when witnessing suffering. But we can always come back again and again to a place of peace. We can take a beat, take a moment to write, get our thoughts down in words, take a moment to draw, paint, or color. Some of us find solace in chores when we're in a frenetic state. Some of us take solace in watching comedy or listening to a podcast. It's not always so easy to just be still, so know that meditation can also mean movement, and that as we move, as we tire the body, then maybe we can find a moment of peace, a bit of stillness. Gain some clarity, clarity enough to sit still. So, whatever your activity here now, whether it is coloring or just listening and watching, or drawing or journaling, just take a moment to breathe, breathing in, breathing out. And know that whatever thoughts, whatever emotions, you're not alone. We are all connected. Let us remember our humanity so that we can remember the humanity in one another. It can be so easy to get thrown off balance, off course, to be thrown outside of our peace, thrown outside of our love. But it's always there. It's always there for us to return to. We can come back again and again, just like this is going to seem, well, however it seems. But truly, just like the flowers. Every winter, I suppose, depending on where you live, some plants die and wilt, wither, but every spring, those plants come back again. The grass turns green, flowers bloom. Life returns. And the same is true within us. There may be times when our love is dormant or our heart is closed or hard, when we lose our peace. Our harmony becomes hard to find. But it's always there, right beneath the surface. Sometimes just needing a little more warmth, a little more sun, and a little more water. And truly, our biology requires sunlight, certainly water, hydration, and certainly warmth. Our basic needs are not too different from plants. We need nutrients. We need vitamin D. So we take a moment when we're in a state outside of harmony, outside of peace. We take a moment to pause, to notice what we need. Maybe we need to hibernate for a bit. Sort of like if you have the opportunity to take vacation, that's what that is like. A moment to rest for a significant period of time. Hopefully to come back refreshed and renewed, energized. But even throughout our days, if we can just take a few minutes in the middle of our day, a minute even, just to close our eyes, breathe, to reconnect to the peace within us, to reconnect to our heart, to feel our heartbeat. And remember that while there are so many things outside of our control, there are things that are within our control when we have the clarity enough to see it. I don't know if you can hear my cat being in the background, but he's making a bit of a fuss. I guess that's kind of a judgmental way to say it. He's vocalizing. He's using his voice. As you take care, as you take care in this moment to pause and to breathe and to exercise whatever bit of creativity is in you, focus and breathe. Notice the emotions, the thoughts. Notice any judgment you're making. I remember going through my first yoga teacher training, and in one of these sessions, we took time to color. And I remember having a thought of judgment, like, really? Coloring? Shouldn't I be learning how to move people's bodies? But we neglect sometimes the importance of play, of creativity, of creating. The importance of those things for our mental health, for our physical health. If we're doing these things in community for our social health. And so let's take care not to scoff at people's play. Remember what it was like to be a child. Or if in your childhood play was neglected, if your creativity was neglected, then considering how important it would have been to have that expression and how you can bring that in to your world today. We have this assumption that everything has to be productive in a very specific way. That we have to produce to get likes, that we have to produce to get validation, that we have to produce to sell. But very similar. Hmm, well, much like in 2020, when many of us were stuck inside, stuck. Um, Certainly not such a beautiful time for many, but for many of us, it did open our eyes to what is truly important. And I think the same is true today as we're facing crises across the world, across the globe. We get to decide what is truly meaningful and how can I bring out more meaning in my life? What do I stand for? Who will I stand with? And when we take these moments to create and to breathe, to color in, then we can gain the clarity we need to see exactly where we ought to be, if we ought to be anywhere. But for now, we are here, observing color, light, shadow, and breathing together in community. Maybe not all at the same time, maybe at different times. Some may see this later, others seeing it live. But whatever time we choose to be and breathe and infuse more creativity into our lives is the right time. Whatever time we find clarity is the right time. And so let's together find a moment, whatever you're doing, to breathe in, breathe out. Feel the support of the air coming in through your nostrils, expanding your lungs. Feel the support beneath your body, whether you're seated in a chair or on the ground or on a cushion. Feel supported. Know that in this moment you are supported. And there's really nothing that you have to do to be supported. In fact, to be supported is to surrender to that support. I enjoyed dance and I was participating in this community dance workshop. It was last year or the year before. And in the workshop, we were doing, oh, I forget what style it was, but it was the style of dance where you're moving with other people's bodies. So you're actually touching and moving together. And it's at times leaning on each other physically. And I remember I was dancing with this one woman, and I could tell that I had some tension. And she said, "Let me support you." Because I was leaning kind of onto her shoulder, but um, also still kind of holding myself up instead of allowing her body to hold me up. And when she said that, it was everything in that moment. Let me support you. Let yourself be supported. Again, knowing that you're not alone in your thoughts and emotions, physical sensations, spiritual practice. There is always support. You can just take some time to find it. It can take some time for us to trust it, but it is there. And that is the picture for today. What is the quote for today? I think I'll do this a few more times. I'll probably pop on here every once in a while to do these coloring and breathing moments. This is a quote. I don't know who this is. A quote from Hans Christian Andersen, but it says, "Just living is not enough. One must have sunshine, freedom, and a little flower." Just living is not enough. One must have sunshine, freedom, and a little flower. And so, with that today, I wish you sunshine, freedom, and a little flower. As always, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being you. Keep taking care of your mind, body, and spirit out there. Peace.